Good evening, tree climbers. I thought I'd make a little video for people who are just starting out on their SRT journey, or for people that have all the SRT kit but don't generally try to use it as much. I'm just going to go through sort of my SRT setup and just show how sort of basic it is. I tried to limit my sort of setup to what I already had, as with so many options on the market, and God knows how expensive some stuff are. If you're just starting out, you probably don't want to be spending all your hard-earned money on all these new devices, and I personally didn't want to spend loads of money to start out because I might not have liked it, but I really have found that it has helped improve my climbing, just even on a sense, just to get in the tree. It's less hassle, less use of your arms, more efficient. And I think the aim of this video was to try and get people who are just starting out just to get the basics and go from there. What I'll show in the next clip is my new harness I bought. It's the newer version of the one I already had, which is the Tree Motion Essential. What I've done, which I quite like with Tuffelberger, is they come with sort of accessory bits you can add on your harness, but I've added a integrated sort of bungee system which helps with the knee ascender. You'll see on the new DMM Kinesis that they have these, and you can buy them separately, a tendon, which is about 50 quid in its own. Being that I didn't really want to spend about £600 on a harness and another 50 quid for just a tendon, but it's really helped just get the right height for the knee ascender. And the main thing for me is it adds less clutter to the harness. You know, you can spend 150 quid on a brand new knee ascender, which is already, it's got all the bits made up, but for what I had initially, I just had a bit of bungee with a cheap ascender that I bought off Amazon, which I still use, as you'll see here, with a bit of string attached to the bottom and a carabiner. But all that together, when you're trying to clip it on while you're climbing and taking it off, it all kind of gets in the way a bit for me, and putting it back on your harness, it's just, I feel that's what puts people off the most about SRT, is just having all the gear. I, for one, do not like stuff sort of cluttering around the harness. You'll see a lot of people who have the whole belt filled up. I don't do that. I like a nice clean harness, tidy, and just less things in the way the better, personally. My setup for SRT, I have the rope wrench, which is about £120. However, if you already have sort of, you climb on a hitch climber and you have the hitch climber with the Prussics, it's not a great expense just to add that, just to get the extra friction. If you have a zigzag, the chicane's also a great sort of one to get. Again, another £150. I use sort of the SRT as a separate sort of device, so I'll have that and a zigzag on the go at the same time usually. But if you just want to use SRT for ascents, then add in a rope wrench or a chicane to your accessories is a good way to start. You'll see as the video sort of goes on, I'm not going to show necessarily tips and tricks on how to climb SRT, because there's 100 videos out there on people showing, you know, how to get into it. It's more sort of the basic kit and equipment, which I find has helped me sort of develop myself into it. You see there, I just put on the Recoil Audax, which is sort of a hydration backpack with an integrated SRT tether system. That's not a cheap thing to buy. If you're just starting, I also use the sort of neck tether, which you can get online, which is sort of an elasticated bungee cord with a carabiner on, which tends the system as you go up. One thing I like about the updated Tuffelberger harnesses is that they have two separate bridges, and one of them, as you'll see there, is shorter, which is what I found great for SRT, as it keeps you close to your system and essentially easier to sort of tend up. You'll see here I'm just taking off my ascender with a little bit of string and a carabiner on the end clipped to my foot loop. Here's my integrated bungee with a little screw gate carabiner. But as you can see, you can just clip it on and it's ready to go almost straight away. I found it's easy to get the length for your foot whilst you're standing up and it's all attached. You want it to kind of be tight, so you get, when you do a full step, there's no slack in it, so you want it to be even with your other foot. I have a left foot ascender on, and as you're walking up the rope, you're basically walking in midair. So you want your knee ascender to be dialed in to match with your left foot or your right foot, whichever way you do it, just so you get nice equal steps up the tree. And you can start off slow, but what I found with this integrated bungee and a short sort of bridge is that you're able to get up there a lot quicker. One of the main reasons for me about this setup is just the ease of getting it off and on when you're up the tree. You don't really want to be up there faffing around with long bits of string and stuff you don't know where to stow. So now the ascender is completely on its own, you can just clip it on with the carabiner. And then once the foot ascender's off, you're ready to work. Coming up in a minute is a video of me sort of just when I started out doing the SRT with my homemade knee ascender. And as you can see, I mean, I'm still getting up there, but it's not as smooth with the, the feet going side by side, and that was because my knee ascender just wasn't really dialed in properly. I used to have a bit of bungee on the top, which is similar to one of my harness, but I used to connect it to my carabiner. And then I never had a foot loop. I used to just loop the rope around my foot, which cut off the circulation of my foot very quickly, actually. So I think the key thing to have a nice smooth sort of ascent with SRT is to get the knee ascender properly set up. And so when you're pushing down with your left or right foot, whichever one you use, you have that nice tension and it makes nice equal steps as you go up. This is the second time climbing up with my sort of SRT on my harness system. I'm trying to see if I can do it as quick as I can. Just as you're in a work environment, you don't really want to be stuck around dealing with stuff. As you ascend, you see my hands there. I'm not really pulling myself up with that. I'm just balancing myself against the rope, and it's all in the legs. And then once you reach your top anchor, which is not very high in this instance, you probably want to start from the top first. So I like to take off my tether and then my knee ascender, just as that's in a couple bits. You want to get that out of the way and clip it on your harness without dropping it. And then once that's back on, you can take off your foot ascender and you're ready to go again. Now, I'm not sure how helpful this video will be if you're actually trying to start out into SRT and learn how to climb it, but I just thought I'd show my setup, and you can see it's very basic, and I'm able to get up and down no problem. I just thought I'd show that you don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds just to get into SRT. You can do it from an inexpensive standpoint. However, thanks for watching. That has been my SRT setup. Everyone's different. I just thought I'd show mine as it's very basic, and if you want to get into SRT, it can be quite daunting at first, but it's actually very easy.